Welcome to our Healthy Hearts program. Today we changed our time a bit because we wanted to trial starting at a later time. We just want to see how this will go because we realize that sometimes, 6 o'clock people are just getting back from work. Mothers are trying to fix dinner for children. And so we want to see if this might work better. So hopefully people would be able to join us very soon. Now, our Healthy Hearts program is a culturally tailored nutrition and lifestyle education program that provides us with nutrition education, practical tips from Black nutritionists and dietitians, mainly based in the UK, but also across different African countries. Each week over the last 3 years, we've had these experts, including public health experts as well, talking to us on various nutrition and health conditions, particularly nutrition management and how we can prevent these diseases through a healthy lifestyle. Now, if you are new and you want to catch up on some of these sessions, please go to our CAN homepage on Facebook and YouTube, and you should be able to see all of these talks we've had over the last 3 years, covering several topics. And a lot of the times, we make sure that the topics are tailored to us as a community, so African and Caribbean people. I'm your host, Dr. Hibbah. Kwai-Osei. I'm a registered nutritionist. I'm a lecturer in nutrition and public health. Today, I have with me my co-director, Dr. Robert Akparibo, who doesn't need any introduction. So I'm just going to introduce him briefly. He's also a registered nutritionist. He's a public health expert and an associate professor at the University of Sheffield, where I used to work some time ago and where I did my PhD. Rather than do a presentation, today we are just going to have a discussion. And it's, even though Robert and I are spotlighted, we would really want to hear from others. So I also have a colleague here called Emmanuel, who is a physical activity expert. And so from time to time, I will be calling on him to contribute to today's very important discussion. Now, if you look at the promotional poster, what did I say on there? Why is it so hard to maintain healthy lifestyle behaviors? That is what we are going to talk about today. So, Robert, should I give you a minute to say hi? I've already introduced you, but yeah, maybe just say hello and then we can start our discussion. I think you're on mute now.
Sorry, Hibbah, thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Like Hibbah said, I am a household name. So I don't need any introduction, but it's nice to be with you today. I've not managed to attend some of the session in the last months or so, but I think I do make time to attend some of them. So I'm happy to be here today, Hibbah. This is a very interesting topic. We would really be happy to hear what others are experiencing, especially, at the time that we are trying to encourage people to adopt healthy lifestyles. And it's very, very difficult doing that, including those of us who are even having this discussion. So it's good that we share some of these experiences with us and also some tips so that we all learn from one another.
Exactly. And and at the end of the session, I would also do 1 or 2 slides of a summary of the research that I have found. But for now, I just want us to talk. So, Robert, I'm going to start with you. Yeah. Now, you were part of our Sahara TLC intervention. You adopted some positive, healthy lifestyle behaviors. How is it going for you? When I say positive lifestyle behaviors, well, maybe you should tell us, what is it that you changed during that intervention?
Well, I think let me give a little context to this discussion.
Okay.
And probably a context to Sahara nutrition that we did a year ago. We know that NCDs or non-communicable diseases such as coronary heart diseases, diabetes or type 2 diabetes and cancers can be substantially reduced by adopting and practicing protective health behaviors.
Yeah.
What you term as healthy lifestyles.
Yes.
And these include physical activity and healthy dietary intake, and that is what we promoted throughout the year 2022 when we were trying to, or 2021, 2022, when we tried to implement the total lifestyle
intervention. Yeah.
Yes, and to maximize the benefits of health, these protective behaviors should be performed consistently and also very regularly. And when we say regularly, it means every day or multiple times per day or week. And I know that, Hibbah, you have really been very consistent in this. You have been very, you've been doing this and you've been encouraging all of us to do that. And probably you also share some of these.
I will. It's not been easy, but I will.
So in fact, it should become an integral part of our individual daily routine, isn't it? So,
yes.
So what we so let me just say that for guidelines that recommend some of these things. So physical activity guidelines for the UK or even for America. I think when I look at the two countries' guidelines, they both recommend similar. So 150 minutes per week, or that is equating to 2 hours, 30 minutes per week of moderate intensive, they say aerobic physical activities, or 75 minutes per week of vigorous, intensive aerobic physical activity. So that's the recommendation for physical activity. And I know that Emmanuel will be talking more of the about this in a short while.
Yeah.
So we also have guidelines for healthy eating, and I also just talked about the fruit and vegetables. So what it says is that we should fill our plates with fruit and vegetable at every meal and snacking occasions. So of course, the Eat Well guidelines kind of spells out, what proportions that we should be. But that is what the guidelines are saying. But interestingly, in America, 22% of Americans meet these guidelines, and they meet the physical activity guidelines, and only 12% meet the dietary intake guidelines. In the UK, it's quite substantial, but we still haven't reached there. So 67% of UK males and 55% of UK females meet these physical activity guidelines. So that's for adults. For older adults, it's around 58% and 52% for males and females, respectively. So these are some of the things. So if you look at around the world, it's likely to be similar. So Sahara Nutrition was supposed to help with contribute to the wider goal of helping people sustain or increase these percentages up. So for me, and I have been saying it informally when we have our discussion, when I was involved in Sahara Nutrition, I think I lost a lot of weight that I got scared. I got scared that already I haven't, my weight is not already that heavy, but I think it helped me to kind of reduce a weight that, I have struggled over the years to try and reduce and maintain. And since then, I tried to maintain these lifestyles, and it's really been very difficult. And this is why I find this discussion very, very interesting.
You struggle to maintain the lifestyle. Now, I'm interested in the changes you were able to make during that intervention. What were you able to do? Yeah.
So, well, I mean, before I could just get up and, get my breakfast was routine. It's similar in the same way, just cereals all the time. I either take porridge and, locally in Ghana, when you are in a hurry to go to work or do stuff, you just take porridge with some slice of bread. And that's what I used to do. I think I even took photos of my the baseline. I took photos of my food and put it on the platform. And, Alice was like, what is this? I felt so embarrassed, But, as the intervention went on, I learned a lot. Even though I'm a nutritionist, it was quite difficult for me to learn what I preach. But of course, following that intervention very keenly, I was able to modify some of my dietary behaviors. So in the morning, I pay attention to what I eat for breakfast. So make sure that I have a balanced diet, a balanced meal. So I make sure I have proportions of protein, diet. I make sure I have fruits after the meal. I make sure, if I haven't taken any meats in the morning, in the afternoon, I'll balance it up. So I kind of modified that dietary behavior. In terms of physical activity, I wasn't really walking that much. I'm the type that will sit down to do work, and I can sit for hours. And I even at some point had sciatica because of a long sitting. Sciatica is when you sit on your nerves and it start giving you trouble. So I had that, and I couldn't even enter my car. So the Sahara Nutrition Total Life Change helped me to get rid of this sciatica. So I don't have it anymore because I was walking daily. We were trying to all achieve the 10,000 steps per day.
Yeah.
And even though I wasn't meeting the 10,000, but at least I was meeting the weekly guidelines, the weekly UK physical activity guidelines. So these were some of the
changes you were able to make.
I was able to make. Yeah.
Thank you, Robert. I would like to hear from our audience. Even outside of the intervention, because not everybody joined our intervention. Is there anyone here who has adopted some positive lifestyle behaviors and has had challenges continuing it later on? Is there anyone who would like to share their experience of trying to adopt a healthy lifestyle? That could be physical activity, that could be diet, could be anything that you see or you perceive as a healthy lifestyle, and then having to struggle along the line. I'd really love to hear from the group, before we share what the research evidence says. Whilst I'm waiting for anyone to volunteer from the group, I'll share my own experience as well. Yes, like Robert rightly said, at the time we're having the intervention, maybe because it was there was a lot of motivation from the group, a lot of us were able to adopt, these healthy lifestyle, making sure every meal we had vegetables, exercising, getting our 10,000 steps. After the intervention, a lot of us backslided, So, Martha, please come on. I was talking because no one was sharing. I would really love to hear your experience. Let's see if I can unmute. Yes, you're unmuted. Yeah.
Well, basically, even before I started the program, I've always tried to adopt a healthy lifestyle, a balanced diet, etc., exercise. But I find it's been difficult because in my family, I'm from Caribbean heritage, so we've got blood pressure, we've got diabetes, and cholesterol. We've got the whole lot. So at the moment, and I hope it stays like that, all my siblings have got diabetes. They're all managed, but this is how it is because both my parents had it. So I decided many years ago that because I knew all these illnesses ran in my family, that I would try my best not to get any of them until, maybe at some point you will, I don't know, but I would try whatever I could to avoid getting any of them. So I work religiously, but it is very difficult because it's an everyday struggle. it's from the moment you wake up every morning, you've got to be mindful about everything that you do. And it's very difficult because you get a lot of over the years, I get people telling me things like, you're too thin, you should eat more. Why do you just only have a little bit of scrape of butter or margarine, or you don't eat that, or you don't eat that, you're this, you're that, you're the other. And I feel like sometimes people think I'm a bit crazy.
Yeah.
Or that I'm a bit sort of, that I'm just trying to be different.
Yeah.
But and I even sometimes with my husband, he's like, because he's a different nationality to me, so he has a different heritage, the sort of things that ran in his family, and he could eat the whole packet of butter and he wouldn't get cholesterol.
But you're right. Yeah.
So he can't seem to understand why I do some of the things that I do. Like I say to him, at the moment, I'm saying I want to eat more vegetables. Yeah. I'm trying to eat less fruit because I recognize that because I have an allotment. I have a lot of fruits.
Yeah.
I get a lot of strawberries, raspberries, blah blah blah. So you can have a tendency to think because fruits is supposed to be healthy, you can eat loads, but obviously they're sweet. So you've got to try. So I'm trying to eat a bit less fruit and more vegetables. And I'm saying to him, well, I'd like to eat more vegetables and have it even more than half my plate if I can, and have a bit less carbs. Because I feel that I still feel full and I'm not feeling hungry. I drink water to help me, but he still can't get it. He still puts a smaller, he'll still say, oh, enough vegetables, you don't need any more than that. So it's a constant battle all the time because you're trying, but other people think that you're being over the top.
Yeah. Thanks, Martha. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing that, because that's really a very important factor that influences our lifestyle. You know, the social environment, the people around us really have a huge impact on our daily habits. There's a comment in the chat. Let's see. It's difficult to abstain from carbs for a long time in an attempt to lose weight, as most of our meals are high in carbs. I find having a lot of vegetable gets boring after some time. Thank you for sharing that, Sandra. Now, Robert, that takes me to the next topic I want us to discuss. We've already highlighted two. Martha talked about some of the challenges. Now, Sandra has also talked about some of them. And I want to hear from I
just wanted to do a quick comment.
On that. Yes, please.
Martha was one of the very active members
participants, of the chat of the intervention.
Yes. And so I'm happy that you are sharing some of these things. It is true that there are some people, no matter what the portions that they eat, the kind of food that we call bad food that they eat, they will still be like, you see them and they would never have weight gain. But I think it's not just about weight gain that we doing some of these things, isn't it? Because there are people whose fat deposit is not visible, so they don't deposit fats around the abdomen or the buttocks or but the fat deposit is around the heart, so and when it happens that way, that's why sometimes people will just be there and then they get
before you know it, they're gone.
Heart attack, because the fat is around the heart such that it's not able to pump the blood the way it's supposed to, because that is what is blocking it to do the pumping. So I think this is just to it's not to say that we want to just encourage people to reduce weight or because that's why we are doing physical activity, but in the long term, we want to avoid these long-term health conditions, chronic diseases and all that. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Emmanuel, do you want to come in? Yes, please come in.
Just to add up what Robert just said. So in addition to the fat deposits around the heart, we have an acronym we call the TOFI, pain from the outside, fat from the inside. So there are people who may look very slim and everything, but their biomarkers are very high. And these may also be what? Very dangerous. You have high cholesterol, your blood sugar is high, so you may not necessarily be fat. That is why I agree very much with what Robert said earlier, talking about moderation, because one thing I have also observed is that we tend to be a bit extremist, going on these fat diets, diets. I have experienced it, and I think the key word over here would be moderation.
Moderation.
And also,
we've lost you, Emmanuel. Yeah, we've lost you. If you come back, let me know, and then you can continue making your points. And it goes back to, let me link what you were saying to what Sandra said in the chat. It's difficult to abstain from carbs for a long time. You know, it goes to buttress that point about moderation, because healthy lifestyle, it's not about quitting, or, you know, we never preach people cutting down their carbs completely or taking it out. It's just a reduction in portion sizes. Emmanuel, are you back? Yeah, we couldn't hear you for a minute.
Oh.
Do you want? Yeah. Go ahead. Do you want to finish your point?
I don't know where I got to, but I was talking about this topic thinking on the outside, but on the inside.
Yeah.
Making sure our biomarkers are regulated, and also making sure that our cardiorespiratory fitness, our endurance is up to what level, and not just focusing on weight loss. You know, sometimes it may be very difficult to lose weight, yet you may be fit.
Good point. Good point. So sometimes it might be very difficult to lose weight, but you may be fit. And I was coming to that. Emmanuel, now that you have already alluded to that, let's just talk about that. I know people who would swear that they are so active, you know, they're doing everything they can. They are walking 10,000 steps, they're hitting the gym, but they are not losing weight. And because of that, you know, it demoralizes them, and then they stop. Why? You are a physical activity expert. Why is it that some people would do whatever they can, exercise, follow the recommendation, and still not lose weight? For people who are trying to lose weight, I reckon that not everybody wants to lose weight. I'm talking about people who want to lose weight. What is the scientific explanation for that, please?
So weight loss is dependent on so many factors. And I think even in the literature, dietary habits take a greater chunk of it. So if we want to focus on physical activity alone to lose weight, then we are going to be in trouble. But there are a few things that one has to be looking at when it comes to exercising. Because what happens is that you may be exercising, yet you are not having enough rest. That can also contribute to you suppressing some of your hormones, like the leptin. Instead of the leptin suppressing your hunger, unfortunately, you wouldn't have enough production, and you end up eating more. Also, your cortisol level can also increase because you are not having enough rest.
So just to reiterate, because I think you're not very audible, you're saying that sometimes you might be exercising but not having enough rest, and that can affect some of your hormones that regulates your appetite, and so you would eat more. That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
So you would, instead of the hormone suppressing your hunger, unfortunately, it doesn't have enough production of leptin. So that is going to affect you, and you end up eating more. Also, the production of what cortisol can also affect, because you're not having enough rest. That can increase the production of cortisol. It can also be you not taking enough water. You end up over exercising. That can also contribute to you not having the right balance, and at the end of the day, instead of you losing weight, you end up increasing, because you end up more than you you end up in a positive
energy balance.
So
you end up eating more than,
more than what
you're expending. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you saying, Emmanuel, that as long as you are eating less than you're expending, so say I haven't increased the amount of food or, the portions, and I've increased my energy expenditure through exercise, then I should lose weight, ideally?
Well, there are other factors like hypothyroidism and other things. These are conditions that may be affecting.
So other medical conditions can come into play.
Yeah. But all things being equal, it's not a hormonal imbalance.
Yeah.
Then all things being equal, you consuming less than you exercise,
you should lose weight.
Balance. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. There's a point here. I was following everything strictly when we were doing the portion sizes and 10,000 steps. I was losing weight, but not the fat from my belly. Please, what's the problem? Emmanuel, any thoughts on that? Why was she not losing the fat around her belly when she was generally losing weight in other parts of the body?
There may be so many factors, and we start with you consuming more than you expend. And what happens? The reserve the excess carbohydrates are stored in the liver for future use. So if you are consuming more than you need, then the body automatically will store the excess of carbohydrates you ingest. So it is a bit complicated because I wouldn't know your portion size. I wouldn't also know your physiology per se. So I can't draw a conclusion. I can't individualize it. But if you are doing the right thing, then, so let's say if you end up starving, right? I can tell you that belly,
the belly fat will go away.
Reduce.
Yeah.
So in this case, you may be consuming more than you expended.
Right. That reminds me of something one of our participants said. So during the intervention, there was someone who was losing, Robert, like you, so much more weight than she wanted. She wanted to lose weight, but she was asking Alice that, please, I don't want to lose the fat around my bum. So she wants to lose weight, but Alice was, you want to lose weight, but you don't want to lose the one around your bum. She wanted selective weight loss. So she was asking, how can I lose weight? I enjoy the weight loss, but I don't want the one that is going away. Anyway, that was just by the way. Robert, let's go back to some of the reasons why, people are not able to maintain some of these healthy lifestyle behaviors, because I want to share some slides, but just wanted to hear your thoughts, maybe from the research evidence. Any thoughts on that? Why do people struggle to maintain healthy behaviors, lifestyle behaviors?
Well, I mean, there are several reasons, and it depends and also on the individual. But what the research has categorized are a few that I can share. So, and I also experienced some of these things. So time constraint is one of them. So everybody knows that time is very important, especially when you are in this country and you are working. You get up in the morning, especially those who work at hospitals and care homes. They start work very early in the morning, and they are unable to get up in the morning to prepare a healthy, balanced diet to eat before they leave. So whatever they get, they grab it, and then that's it. And when they get to workplace, the workplace also plays, apart from time, workplace plays a key role, because if you are working in a hospital where all what they sell there is sandwiches, so that is the food that is available at your workplace, and you haven't been able to send your own food to the hospital. And then there are some workplaces that you may not be able to send your food there to go and eat, especially for those of us who are coming from cultures where we heat our food before we eat. So if you are not able to send your food there, you have no option than to go for the sandwiches, and you are going to continuously do that, and then you become addicted to it. So when you become used to that sandwiches, every day you just grab sandwich, every day you grab sandwich for lunch, and then in the morning you grab whatever that you get. So these are things that make people, unable to continue to practice what they know that needs to be practiced. So time is a factor, and I have been a victim for that.
Okay.
Maybe for some, cost of the food is a factor, but maybe not everyone. But you may have the money to buy the food, but maybe in some settings, some people live in areas where they call food deserts, so where access to fresh, healthy food is limited, and if that happens, convenience stores are what you resort to. So these are some of the findings that the research is reporting. Cultural and social factors is also very crucial that we have to think about. So cultural and social norms can strongly influence dietary choices. So you come from Africa and all you are thinking about is you want to get your fufu to eat. If you don't eat fufu, like you haven't really eaten food for the day. So others have had this addiction such that if they don't eat it, they haven't really eaten anything. And some of us again are victims of it. So those are some of the research.
Okay. Robert.
And there are quite a number of them.
There are quite a number of them. Yeah. Okay, thank you. I want to come in here. So
Can
you
I
see,
add this one?
Oh, Emmanuel, did you have something to say? Yes, go ahead.
Yes. I think cravings, mood swings, hormonal imbalance, stress, and fatigue can also lead to one not sticking to some of these lifestyle choices. So it's not just from the outside. So rather, it can also come from within. Hormonal imbalance.
Intrinsic factors.
Your
okay,
mind,
hormonal balance.
Mindset.
Okay.
All, but rather, I keep fighting people when it comes to this fufu issue. I don't know how bad it is.
No, so it was just an example. I think what he means by that is...
You keep saying, I'm also just kidding, but
yeah.
How bad is it, Robert?
Emmanuel, if you continue, or if all your meal is fufu is starchy foods, and we all know that the way fufu is prepared, you are not able to put, if you look at the Eat Well guide for the UK, you have to have a portion of vegetable fruits. There's an argument that Hibbah has been researching that the soup of the fufu may have some vegetables in it. That's
no. So yeah, Emmanuel, it's just that he's not saying fufu is bad. No, not at all. All our African foods are healthy. I'm not saying
it's bad, but but
it's how we eat it.
If you want to really balance all the things that we preach, and because of your cultural food preference, it is difficult to be able to stick to that, because fufu may be one of the food that you prefer to be eaten. So
so Robert, your point is just the frequency. People who just have it every night, and also the timing. So I mean, what we do as part of Healthy Hearts, it's just to talk about how we can make our own foods healthier. And so we've never said on this program that any of our foods are unhealthy. Martha, thank you so much. One has to be intentional.
Maybe Emmanuel just wanted to know whether it is a bad thing to do it or not, because he probably just wanted to know.
Yeah, so we can choose salads instead of sandwiches, for example. Thank you so much. So Robert, when you talked about the time and the cost and all of that, I was smiling because that's where I want to disagree. I don't say that it is not a factor, but the point of this program is how, in spite of time constraints, in spite of the environment we live in, how can we support? So thank you for sharing what the evidence says, the research evidence. Now, what I want us to focus on is how do we still adopt healthier lifestyles and maintain it in spite of these challenges Robert has talked about? And please permit me.
That is the next level, isn't it? How do we navigate through that? But those are definitely the ones that influence the way you may not be able to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a slide that I wanted to show. Well, I don't really have to show it, but I can just talk through it. So I was recently looking at a book and then some research papers on why it is so hard for people to adopt good habits, but it's so easy to repeat bad habits, and sometimes despite our best intentions, and I believe we all have good intentions, we all want to adopt healthier habits, it might seem impossible. Now, these authors, so a group of authors who study psychology, have come out with a framework. And there are so many of these frameworks, I'm just going to share one of them today, that says that most of the times we try to change the wrong things. We try to change our habits in the wrong way. What do I mean by that? So there's evidence to show that we can change our behaviors in 3 layers. So there are 3 layers of behavior change. You can decide to focus on the outcomes, and I'll give you an example of an outcome. If you want to focus on the outcome, you could say, I want to lose weight. I want to run a marathon. That is your outcome. That is what you're going to get when you change your behavior. Or you can focus on the process. So there are 3 layers. The first one is outcome. The second one is process. Now, what is process? The habits and the systems that you implement in order for you to have a new regimen, or the planning you do, what you do for you to be able to achieve the outcome. Then there's a 3rd layer, which is known as the identity. So you can also change your identity. When we say identity, it's not like your identity for being African to European, no, but your beliefs, your worldviews, your assumptions, all of these things influence whatever you do. Now, these authors say that a lot of the times, most of us just focus on outcome-based habits. We always just say, I want to lose weight. I want to run a marathon. I want to do this. I want to reverse my diabetes. Okay. That is not wrong. It is okay. It's always important to have that ultimate goal, that this is what you want to achieve. But the evidence shows that once you focus only on that, without thinking about the processes or your identity, then eventually you are going to drop those habits. It is not sustainable. Okay. And I'll give you an example. So for people who went through the TLC intervention, 12 weeks, some people lost 5 kilos, 10 kilos. The intervention had ended. Now what next? A lot of people, you didn't focus on the process, so you've achieved your goal. You easily go back to those bad behaviors without even realizing, because your entire focus was on the outcome, losing weight, and not the processes. Okay, you didn't really work on your identity, your worldview. You didn't work on, you're someone who thinks that fufu is something I must have every night. But then during the 3 months, you decided to cut down on the fufu just so that you can lose weight. So after the 3 months, you go back, because after all, I've lost 10 kilos. So what is recommended is that rather than just focusing on the outcome, what is even more important is to focus on the identity and the process. What do I mean by identity? I already explained that is your set of beliefs and systems that underlie who you are. You cannot change your habits if you don't change the beliefs that led to those behaviors you already have. And Robert gave a good example. If you think that, okay, I'm an Akan, so people who come from where I come from, they like to eat their fufu, and they will tell you that if I have not eaten my fufu, I have not eaten. if you don't change that mindset to a point where you realize that maybe I shouldn't have fufu every night, it is important for me to have other foods. Maybe I should cut down on my animal proteins, until you focus on that identity, true behavior change will not happen. True behavior change is identity change. Evidence shows that motivation can help you start. All of us were motivated during the intervention period. And at the beginning of each year, motivation will help us start behaviors. But sticking to those behavior change or those habits takes identity change. It takes you working on your systems in your house. It takes you working on those obstacles in your environment for you to be able to stick with new habits. And if you don't stick to those, or if you don't work on your identity or the beliefs behind certain habits that you already have, then improvement will be temporarily. They would not be sustainable. So we need to work on our identity. And sometimes it might even be that you haven't really thought about your identity. Let me give you an example. A lot of us here someone would identify as a Muslim or a Christian because perhaps you read the Bible, you go to church, So going to church or reading the Bible comes easy because that's who you are. If you're a Muslim, going to the mosque or reading the Quran comes easy because, you don't have to think about it. You're doing this because that's your identity. So rather than think about behavior change as an outcome-based change, that's, okay, I want to lose weight, we need to think about the identity. And that's what I have started doing. So I have started running in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Now, after I started listening to reading these papers and this book, I changed my mindset. In the past, I would have just said, and I said that once on this program, that I want to run the marathon. That's an outcome-based change that I want, but that is not enough. So if I finish running the marathon, then what next? What do I do? So I have changed that to me wanting to be a runner. I want to be a runner, and I don't want to be a runner for competitions, a competitive athlete. No, I want to change my identity in a way for me to be able to adopt healthier lifestyle, this time thinking about my physical activity levels. So this book that I was reading had a very nice example that someone used this concept. Anytime she wanted to she was trying to change her eating behaviors to a healthier one. So anytime she wanted to eat something not unhealthy, every time she wanted to eat, she would ask herself, what would a healthy person do? So the few times that I felt lazy to get up and go for a run, I would ask myself, what would a runner do? These are things you need to keep telling yourself, because the only way we can build healthy habits is when it becomes routine, when it becomes part of us, when it becomes part of our identity. Otherwise, as I said earlier on, it is only going to be temporarily. We'll do it for a bit. We would have those odd days, like Robert said. All of us have 24 hours and we are getting busier and busier and busier. So if we don't make the conscious effort, if we don't change our worldview, our identity about how we perceive physical activity or healthy eating, then those excuses would always be there. Yes, they are true. Healthy food is expensive. We don't have enough time. But the evidence again shows that once you work on the processes, a lot of the times, we don't work on these systems. We don't have clarity on how we want to achieve these behavior change. We just say we want to be physically active. No, you need to think about they call it the who, the when, the what, and the why. Lots of those questions. If you want to be physically active, Robert, you need to write down, articulate this to yourself. What time within the day do I want to do this? And then make sure you find the time, because if you are committed to it, you will be able to find that time. And again, it doesn't have to be 30 minutes or 1 hour. Once you're starting a new behavior, that's another mistake we make. We tend to think about these things as, massive changes for people who are starting to adopt healthier lifestyle, it has to be really small, like 10 minutes of doing some exercise for starters, and then gradually building on this. Because until these behavior changes become routinized, until they become part of our identity, then it's just going to be a roller coaster. Just, you start, after 3 months, you stop, you go back to the old habits, and then you are unable to start again. Yes. Someone come in. Yeah, Robert.
I'm coming in.
Yes.
This is very interesting, and I think what you are saying is very important. But I think such thing would begin from the family. I mean, like you say, if you are a Christian or a Muslim, let's just say you are a Muslim and you come from a Muslim family that do not really pray. They are Muslims, but they don't really pray.
Yeah.
When you grow up, and then you even, you find yourself with friends who are Muslims, it is always difficult for you to fit in because you don't come from, it didn't start from the family. You haven't cultivated that habit or that, identity from family throughout to the level where you can freely sustain this. Okay, so it's similar to what you are talking about in terms of the processes.
Yeah,
interventions that we do are driven by donor funding. And when the first thing that you think about is when you attend obesity meeting or obesity conference, it's all about the proportion of people who are overweight and obese. The figures are frightening. And so the thing is, let's bring it down. Nobody even talks about the processes, because somebody said, I have been, I lost weight during the Sahara TLC, but I didn't lose belly fat. So for them, belly fat was a motivation for them to come and lose at that intervention. And the way we designed the intervention, our purpose was to encourage people to lose weight. You get it? So because our aim was to get people to lose weight, and if you write a report for that donor and then you did not even, you don't have quotations from participants or data showing that people have lost weight, then the next time you are not even getting the funding, or it's like you haven't really done the intervention well, But they have forgotten about the fact that the processes that, or the kind of education that you have provided to people will help them to begin to reflect on their identity and all that. So is it the interventions we are getting wrong? So that's the question that I'm trying to ask here. Because the interventions determines what your expectation for that, for being part of that intervention will be. So if you design an intervention and your aim is to promote healthy eating, that is what you are going to focus on. If your intention is to promote physical activity leading to decrease, reducing weights and reducing the levels of, or maintain the levels of obesity and overweight, that is what you are aiming for. I mean, I think it's, as researchers, it is always very difficult for you to go to a funder to tell them that I am going to kind of go to a family and educate them on how to think about the process. So these are some of the challenges that probably researchers find themselves, and even those who provide funding for some of these things.
Right. Thanks, Robert. Emmanuel, I'll come to you, but it's something I really want to share. It's really something still important because, like I said, in spite of these challenges we are highlighting, at the end of the day, we also want to talk about what we can do, or what we can do in our own way to be able to maintain some of these positive habits we adopt. One thing we've realized is that a lot of the times people underestimate the value of small changes. People are trying to change their behaviors. And one good example is what someone said in the group, The belly fat wasn't going, but she was losing weight. There are some people who might not even see the weight loss, like the example we talked about at the beginning, and as a result, that just discourages them. People just quit after 1 month or 2 months because they cannot see any changes in their health. Like we said at the beginning, Robert mentioned this. We shouldn't always focus on the numbers. Let us not undervalue the small changes that happen. Sometimes we don't even see it, but the effects multiply as you repeat them. Okay, you might not see them immediately, and that is why we make a few changes and we slide back to our old routines because you're not seeing anything. You want to lose belly fat, you're not seeing it, you get frustrated, you go back to the unhealthy habits. It's the same way that unhealthy habits will not result in immediate outcomes. And was it Robert, you who said that, or no, it was Martha who said there are people who can eat all the junk food in this world, but you don't see them gaining weight, they don't have any cholesterol, high cholesterol, but believe you me, eventually, the bad effect is going to show at some point, okay?
Yeah.
Eat unhealthy and you will not see the problem immediately. It's the replication of these choices that compounds to a problem. Now, there was a very good analogy that I want to use here, for those of us who are trying and we always get discouraged. What progress looks like. When you have an ice cube in a room temperature of 25 degrees, and this was from a book that I read, increase the temperature by 1 degree Celsius and you don't see anything. Increase it by another degree Celsius, the ice will not melt. Increase by another 1, it will not melt, but you are increasing the temperature. Then suddenly, even at 30 degrees Celsius, the ice block might not melt. At 31, suddenly the ice melts, okay? Breakthrough moments are as a result of previous action. So that ice did not melt just because of that 1 degree Celsius after the 30 degrees. It is because of the that increment, the gradual increment that had occurred. Now, they were using this as an analogy to what happens with our lifestyle habits. You always need to get to a critical threshold. And most of the times we are not patient enough with ourselves. Until you hit that critical threshold, you may or may not see any change. And for most people, they get disappointment because they are expecting a linear progress. I've been walking for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Why is it that I still feel the same way? And so once there is no change, they decide to quit. But for us to be able to make a meaningful difference, our habits need to persist long enough to break what is called the plateau of latent potential. And I'm using that ice cube as an example. So, it's just like hard work. Let me use, those of us, anyone who works, sometimes you work so hard, people will not see anything, but eventually something good happens. And then people say, oh, this just happened. People don't see all the hard work you would have put in. They just see, say, the success or the failure. Okay. So we need to make sure we are patient with ourselves when we are trying to make lifestyle changes. Everything you do is not wasted. You just need to persevere a bit longer. When you finally get to that plateau, people will call it an overnight success. That's why you see people and you're like, oh, what happened? You've lost 20 kilos. No, it didn't just happen. It is usually a slow process. The outside world don't see the hard work you put in. Changes take time. It takes patience. It requires patience and perseverance. So, the task of breaking a bad habit is like uprooting a powerful oak. If you know what an oak is, those bad habits that we already have, it is so hard to uproot. But the task of building a good one is like cultivating a delicate flower. If you know how to cultivate flower, you know that you need to be patient, you need to be gentle. And if you are not, then you will not achieve any of these. Robert, do you want to come in here?
Yeah, no, yes, I think this is really very useful what you are showing, because I think these are some of the things that we lose sight of, and then we are unable to appreciate the kind of effort that we are putting. if I say that I didn't learn anything or I didn't pick anything from TLC, but I think I have, since the implementation of TLC, I have constantly made sure that I have fruits, especially my lunch. I make sure that I have at least fruits, or if I don't have fruit, then there should be vegetables, you see. But I used not to do that. That little change, I need to probably applaud that. Yeah. Somebody needs to applaud that. Yeah. And then that will
celebrate the wins.
Be able to do that. Yeah. So, Hibbah, what I want to say is that,
final words.
So there's no doubt that, things like lack of motivation is what is making people to, relapse. We talked about our environment and how it influences the way we behave, the way we probably either do physical activity or eat healthily. There is no doubt that time is a factor. What I wanted people to share, I want to hear from people and I want to learn from people is, how did you navigate through that? Because these are some of the things that is putting some of us.
Yes. So, well, no one has shared that, but I want, and you know that I've started running and walking. So I shared my own experience, Robert. It's the same everywhere. I've always used time as my excuse, but I made up a conscious effort that I'm going to have a system in place. Mm-hmm. So these days, when I wake up in the morning, I tell myself every day I need to do a 30 minutes walk or run before I go to work.
Okay.
Where did I find that 30 minutes from? I've maybe just reduced the time I have to sleep. Yeah. Emmanuel, come in. Yeah. So that's my example. I always use time as an excuse. I don't go to the gym because of time, but I'm doing it these days. And for the past 6 weeks, constantly, every day, I've managed to get my 10Ks.
And believe me,
put the processes in place. Yeah.
And believe me, that you said that you are doing it in the morning. I always call you to say that I try to motivate, thank you or congratulate you for being able to wake up in the morning.
To do that, yes, you've said that.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to sustain that. But
I'm working on that.
You have someone who calls you to tell you that keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Even if I don't call you, I know you will still do it. And through that, through what I picked from you is that I do it also in the evening, because I can't do it in the morning. So the time that I can do it is in the evening. So this is what I picked from you. Somebody talked about craving. I think it's Emmanuel.
Yeah.
How do we make sure that even though we are craving for something, I have managed, and you know me, that I don't take ice cream. I've managed to get away, to do away with ice cream. Okay. I've managed to do away with, anything like Coke and all that. I've managed to do that. So it is a gradual process.
It is a gradual process, indeed. It is a gradual. Let me let Robert, because our time is up. Yeah, Emmanuel, our time is up. So if you could quickly.
No, it's up to 8 o'clock, Hibbah.
No, 1 hour, and then Orlando comes in. We've already done 1 hour, Robert. Right. Emmanuel, come in.
So mine has to do, I'm just trying to contextualize, considering we are in Ghana and the causes of obesity. So I think we had our staples, and back in the days, obesity levels were very low until we started eating these processed foods. And we believed that the processed food are more energy dense and nutrient poor. And this might have led to obesity in this part of the world. So I find it a bit confusing if we don't address what may be the cause of our obesogenic society now. I want to attribute it to the fact that we are eating a lot of rice, processed foods, all these things may lead to obesity in this part of the world. I don't know about the developed world because they have been at it for a long time. And when it comes to your issue of physical activity habits, I think we should also consider that there are a few principles, like the principle of overload. That's why you talk about making progress gradually, making sure you do certain specific exercises, considering your basic needs, also making sure there are other variations so that you don't end up doing the same thing over and over. Because when you do that, it's going to be difficult for you to make any type of progress. So these are things that are worth considering.
Yeah, Emmanuel, just quickly to add that, that in Ghana too,
Robert, our time is up.
It's very, very interesting now. So apart from the processed food that we eat, a lot of people don't work these days. They don't graduate. When you graduate, all you are thinking about is to find a car or get a motorbike or whatever. So these things are
inactivity level is high.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, my people, thank you so much. As you can see, we can go on and on and on. And I hate it when we always have to take Orlando's time, 2 minutes into his time. So please join us again next week. What are we doing next week? I can't remember from the top of my head. Is it sickle cell and nutrition? If not, then so I have 2 more sessions coming. Low African and Caribbean, low carbohydrate African and Caribbean foods, and sickle cell and nutrition. I just don't know which one comes first. But final words from me based on the framework that I shared. Habits are not, we all know, habits are not the only factors that influence, a person's identity, because I'm really keen on people's identity today. But by the virtue of their frequency, they become the most important ones. Kick a ball once or, dance once, it will not make you a dancer or a footballer. But by repeating it, as you repeat habits, the evidence accumulates, and that influences your self-identity. So if we try to repeat some of these things, it's the point I'm emphasizing, in spite of the challenges we see, we want to make changes. We just have to keep trying, repeating it. Effects of these daily repetition would fade away the bad ones, and then you gradually see that day by day, bit by bit, you'll be building new habits. So on this note, I like to say that please don't focus only on the outcomes. Don't just say you want to lose weight, Think about the processes. If you're going running, don't say you're just going because you want to be do the marathon. You want to be a runner because you want to stay healthy. I'll end it here. Robert, final words.
Well, I just want to say that if you are struggling to maintain some of the positive practices that you've done, find someone who would be motivating you, someone who
accountability partner.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very, very important. Motivation is very, very important in maintaining healthy diet and healthy, physical activity practices. Right. So find someone today and then just be talking to the person and motivating each other.
Thank you. Thank you. And Emmanuel says stress management is key to the process. Thank you, people. On this note, we have to hand it over to Orlando. So please do join if you can take part in the sessions, and we will continue this discussion at another time. Thank you all for the engagement, and I hope to see you all next week at 6:30. Our time has changed now, so it's 6:30 and not 6 o'clock. Thank you. Over to you, Orlando.
Thank you, Dr. Hibbah. Thank you, Robert, for that amazing, engaging talk. Today, we are here. We have an upper body circuit coming your way. Am I spotlighted? I think I just can't see. There we go. I can see myself in full HD now. All right, so we have an upper body circuit coming your way. All you need for today's session is a big space. If you have any dumbbells or kettlebells, I'm going to use this today. I'll show you these. So you might have one of these at home, these bands, or if you don't, they're very inexpensive. You can pick one up on Amazon or eBay for £2-3. But these will assist you when we do upper body or lower body stuff. So I'm going to bring this in today for myself. All right, so a band, dumbbells, it could be a bottle of drink, and a space and plenty of water for tonight's session. All right, like I said, we're working the upper body today. All right, so as usual, we're going to go through 2 circuits, and each exercise will be 60 seconds, and we're going to work at around a 6 or 7 on the RPE scale. So remember, 1, you are sat on the couch watching TV, and 10 is the hardest you've ever worked in your life. We're going to be at 6 or 7. Feel free to go above that if you can and really push yourself. Or if you need to dial it back a little bit, get it down to a 4 or 5, then feel free to do so too. Oh my, okay, we're eating into time now, so let's get straight into our warm-up. We're gonna start with some star jumps, okay? So 30 seconds of star jumps. Let me turn my tunes up. Yeah, let's go. Okay, I need 30 seconds of star jumps. Get ready, people. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. Keep it nice and light. Start off with. Okay, the blood flowing. Getting warm. Okay, now, so quick. Ten seconds. Whoa, okay, single arm circle, either side. Nice big circles. Arm backwards. Okay. Good job. Arm backwards. Next one, okay, chest press. Three, 2, 1, okay, rest there for 15 seconds. Shake that off. Okay, people, back to your spaces. Let's continue with this warm now. Next thing we're gonna have here, I'm gonna go diagonally, okay? I'm here with the weights, the opposite shoulder. Let's go. Okay, start. Good. Three, 2, 1, up, one now. Double arm rotation. Let's go. One foot. Arm backwards. Three, 2, 1. Enough time, people. Well done. Okay, take a quick 20-second water break, and then we're going to go into circuit number 1. Okay, people, last few sips of water and join me back in the middle. It's game time. It's game time. Okay, so as promised, as said, we've got an upper body session, and each exercise we're going to work for 60 seconds with a small break in between each exercise. All right, so first two moves coming your way. We're going to start with a front raise to lateral raise. So we're really burning out the shoulders, okay? All three heads of the shoulder. So we're going to go here, then to the side, there, bang, just to the side, like so. We're going to work that for 60 seconds. We're going to have a slight break. Then I'm going to bring my band in, or whatever you might have at home. Okay. I'm going to stand in the middle. Make sure it's even on both sides. And we've got curls, bicep curls, going to be there. Like so. Watch on this side. Over here. Bicep curls. Keeping those elbows nice and tucked in to my ribs. There. There. Okay. Don't forget, we're going from here, 60 seconds to bicep curls, hammer curls. All right, people, let's get busy now. Come on. Get yourself ready now, my people. Let's go. The first two moves, get ready. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. Keep that going, people. Keep that going. Over halfway now. Three, 2, 1. Okay, shake that off. Take a 20-second break. Now bring in your dumbbells, count down wherever you might have been, then arm grab. So I don't have curls. Get ready. Okay, get ready, people. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. We'll keep that going out. Come on. 20 seconds to go. 10 seconds. 2, 1. Okay, relax there. 20 seconds rest. Okay, while you're resting there. So while you're resting, take a few sips of water. Let's go into our next two moves. So first, we've got single arm shoulder press. So we're gonna have here, palms facing your face. I'm gonna push there, nice and strong. Push, squeeze the shoulder. Squeeze. So 30 seconds there. 30 seconds here. From there, we've got bent over rolls. So slight bend in the knees, bend the hips over, and bring those elbows to the ribs. Nice and strong, nice and deep there. Okay, next two moves, people. Let's get ready now. Get ready. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1. Shoulder press. Go. Back on, people. Three, 2, 1. Change sides. You're not going to people. 15 seconds. Three, 2, 1. Okay. Take a break. 15 seconds. Get yourself ready. Bend over rolls next in 3, 2, 1. Let's finish the round. Let's go. Let's go, people. Twenty seconds to go. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. And now it's time, people. Well done. Take a 30-second break. I'm coming right back at you with round number 2. Well done. Okay, people, let's get back to our spaces now. Last round coming your way. Let's go. Okay, so first 2 moves again, 60 seconds apiece. We're going to start off with double-handed shoulder press. So we're going to be here, and we're just going to go boom right above our heads. Okay, our thumbs will almost touch. We're here, press there, around. Shoulder press. From there, we've got shoulder shrugs. Okay, so hands by the side. We're going to bring the shoulders right up to the neck. So, squeeze, bring them down. Shrug again, bring them up. That's the tight. So we're here, bring them down, shrug up, squeeze, and down. So remember, we're going shoulder press to shrugs. First 2 moves, people. Let's start with the shoulder press. Get ready. Get ready. Shoulder press. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. You're not going to 15 seconds, people. Three, 2, 1. Okay, rest for 20 seconds, people. Take your shoulders off. Get ready now, shrugs in 2, 1. Let's go, shrugs. Back on the people, over halfway now. Yeah, seconds. One, and relax. 2 down, 2 to go. Okay, next 2 moves coming your way. Next one, we've got cross bicep curls. So we're going to be here, hands like so, and we're going to go across the body and squeeze. Okay, across the body and squeeze. We're going to do one side at a time. Here, squeeze, 30 seconds, and then we're going to go there for 30 seconds. Okay, across the body. Okay, from there to finish off, we've got bent over Y raise. So we're going to be here. I'm going to raise up like so. Work in the back, right to the front, Y. Okay, cross body curls, one side at a time. So bent over Y raise. Let's get ready, people. Come on. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Cross hammer curl. Let's go.
Ankle lock reduced.
Back on, people. 3, 2, 1. Change arms. Go on, people. 10 seconds. Whoa, rest for 20 seconds, people. Last move coming your way. Okay, bent over Y raise. Get ready in 3, 2, 1, go.
AK loss reduced.
Go on, people. Over halfway now. Let's go, people. Finish strong.
AK loss reduced.
Ten seconds. One, enough time, my people. Okay. All right, so take a 30-second water break and then we'll stretch off. Well done.
Taking off the juice.
Okay, people, join me back in your spaces. Let's stretch off now. Let's start with the neck. We're going to start with ear to shoulder. Let's go.
Taking more juice.
Okay, next side to side now. Nice small circles. Change direction. Okay, either arm across the chest, pull beside the elbow. Stretch the arm nice and tall, try to touch the ceiling. Okay, the arm behind the head, pull beside the elbow. Okay, change arms, pull. Okay, try and touch the ceiling. Okay, same arm behind the head. Last one. Clasp your hands behind your back. Bring your shoulder blades together. Three, two, one, and that's time. Well done, well done. Not sure if it's Shekinah or Sam on the call. Not sure if it's Sam or Shekinah to wrap us up. Maybe no one's on. Praise, I'm not sure who's on tonight. Maybe no one. All right, people, everyone that tuned in via Zoom, Facebook, or Instagram or YouTube, well done for tonight's session. Next week, we'll be coming back with a app session and we'll have a seminar. Remember, we start at 6:30 and not 6 p.m. So we're at 6:30 till 8 p.m. 6:30 till 7:30 will be the seminar, and 7:30 till 8 will be the app circuit. Hi, people. Anyway, take care. Hope everyone enjoyed themselves today, enjoyed the seminar. Have a great rest of your evening. Peace.
Thank you, Orlando. Have a wonderful day. See you later. Bye-bye.